I'm Harry. Nice to meet
Hello,
you. Hi.
how are you?
We're, no, you get a chair. All right. Let's start talking about the history of the group a little bit. A lot of people might not know the history of Fleetwood Mac.
Well, the band started summer of '67, and then it was a four-piece band with myself, John McVie, Peter Green and Jeremy Spencer. And there it stayed for about just a little over a year as a four-piece band.
Mm-hmm.
And we were very much a blues band in those days, and that's basically entirely what we played, was blues music. Then Danny Kerwin joined, and there was the two guitar situation where Danny and Peter Green did a lot of dual guitar playing, which in those days was quite a unique thing to take place. Did a lot of guitar harmonies and things like that. And we made the first album with that lineup was Then Play On,
Yeah.
the album, which was really the first album that put the band in a position where we weren't restricted with just being known as a blues band, although the same members were in it practically as when the band first started.
Right. In 1970, Christine joined the band. In those days, you were more popular, and maybe you still are in the States than in England, but you're English, right?
Three of us, yeah, English and two Americans in the band.
How come you're more popular in the States, you think?
Well, we're extremely popular in America right now. Over the past
It started with
5
Kill
years,
House, right?
it was a gradual thing where we were able to work in America and do really just moderately well. And up till about 2 years ago, it was just a gradual situation where the band became increasingly more known, more popular, on fairly moderate levels, where we reached a point where we were selling 250,000 copies of an album in America.
Yeah.
And we're touring constantly there through the year. Probably maybe sometimes a little over 6 months of the year in America. And during that time was really represented the complete decline of any popularity in Europe, which basically probably was our fault for not presenting the new band, because all through this time you've got to realise we've had a few major changes with, when Peter left, then Jeremy disappeared, and then about a year after that, Danny went.
Right.
So the band as it was originally ceased to exist apart from John and myself.
Right. I want to cut the history a little bit short. In '74, I think Lindsey...
We'll be old by the time if you carry on, I tell you.
Lindsey and Stevie joined in '74. Could you tell us a little bit about what you'd been doing before you joined the band? I know one nice album, but that's all we know.
That's about it, really.
You'd been together as a duo for a long time?
Stevie and I were in a band previous to that in San Francisco during the kind of psychedelic rock days.
Right.
And
What band?
It was just a local band called Fritz
Mhm.
at that time, and that was what, '67 that we started doing that, and we've been singing together from that time until about '71, when we decided to go out and be a duo on our own. And about a year after that, we moved to Los Angeles, and eventually came out with the one album that you mentioned, the Buckingham Nicks album, which didn't really sell. And then we spent about a year and a half, 2 years after that album was released, just kind of trying to get something else happening in Los Angeles. And then Mick eventually heard a track off of that album and saw the potential, liked it a lot, liked just the whole thing that we were doing, and the timing was right. Bob Welch left the group right after that, and we were asked to join, and that was basically it.
So now here we are with the latest and unbelievable successful album.
Minus one. Christine's not here.
Right. Do you feel this group is still the Fleetwood Mac that's in yourself?
Definitely, yeah, sure. 200%.
Music, but I'm part of it. I probably get the other side of it, where the main point of enjoyment to me emotionally is really playing on stage. I adore playing on stage, and it's a great release. It's a complete emotional release for me to be on stage. I get very disgruntled not particularly happy when for too long a period not playing on stage. Although I enjoy being involved in studio work a lot, the main thing probably would come down to feeling really a sense of exercising whatever passions I want to get out on hitting drums.
Making music is really the main, I feel it's the main way that I can express myself, and it's like a window to the outside world in a way.
Right,
you know
you write very personal songs that are...
sometimes I don't think so, but they end up being pretty personal. In retrospect, I think most of the songs that I've written, even though if I think I'm not even writing about myself, eventually I realize that it was something to do with myself. And it's just... I feel very honored, lucky that we can express ourselves in that way, that I can express myself in that way and communicate to other people and make other people happy, hopefully.
What would you do if you wouldn't be able to express yourself in music?
Well, I'd be in a lot of trouble, because to me the music is writing songs, and that is to be able to write something that maybe at a time in somebody else's life they need a little help or a little inspiration or something, that they would sit down and listen to something that I wrote, and it would just either make them feel a little better, or they'd be able to go, yeah, somebody else has been there too, and that helps me. And that, to me, is the most important
Right,
thing.
when you're writing, are you thinking of the kind of people you're writing for, or you have no idea?
Well, all of my songs are written about real people, either me or a friend or something. So,
No, but the people you write those songs for, the people who are going to hear it, you any idea what kind of people they are?
they have to be similar to me, I figure. And if I'm writing about something that I've gone through, then certainly they're going through it or will at some point. And so it has to be some... I mean, that's how I feel when somebody writes something. You know, if I can sit down and be going through a crisis, and I can listen to Joni Mitchell or something, and I can feel from her that she understands, even though she doesn't know me, then for that, I love that, and that's what I try to do.
You feel really bad. Would you be able to be happy and gay on the stage and playing the music?
Yeah, absolutely, and probably that's exactly the time when you really do enjoy yourself, is in moments like that. Especially, you get a lot of basically maybe not too happy days when you're on the road, and for the 2 hours you're going to be playing at night, they're cherished moments to me. Right. They make it all very much worthwhile.
Being on stage would probably make me feel better. Yeah. But see, I don't write like Mick songs as such, so there's no output from there. But my enjoyment comes from being on stage and being on the road.